Hey, welcome back, everybody. Sorry for the ones watching live on Twitch. Over there had a little technical difficulty. It's probably more on my part than anything else. So we got that going, got that fixed. What's going on? We're back, actually keeping up this time with some of our episodes. But before we go ahead and kick on into another James and Jay Dissects The Walking Dead, a few announcements per the usual. Just a reminder that this is a charity website, and all the proceeds from these videos that we have up on YouTube goes towards our charity, which is currently our level 2 charity, which is the Humane Society. Our goal is $1,500. If you guys can donate, excuse me, there are links down below on our Twitch and YouTube channels. Follow those links will take you directly to the website where you guys can go ahead and donate money towards our ultimate goal. If you guys can donate, we understand that. We can do to help us out. It's just to like, subscribe, and follow us on all the social medias, the Twitch, the Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and particularly follow us over on YouTube. If you like this video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. That'll boost us up in the metrics, which means more people will see our videos. More people that see our videos, the more ad revenue we get. The more ad revenue we get, 100% of that goes towards our current charity, which is, once again, the Humane Society. We love our little fur babies, our cats and dogs, and little guinea pigs, too. But let's go ahead and jump on in. James, what's going on, man? How'd you like this past episode?
I have to say the last 5 episodes have been rock solid. The way the season started, started off pretty strong with the first 2 episodes, and it kind of got repetitive. And then, they had some questionable things happen, killing off Carl, which was obviously for shock value, jumping the shark. Episode 9 was okay. Episode 10 was all right. But the last 5 episodes, even the episode, they've been they've been really hitting, picking up where they should have picked up after season 7. So I really enjoyed it, man. I always like, how I always talk about the pendulum episodes, the episode, the right before the season finale. I always like episode 15 because it's like the calm before the storm. And I think that they hit that point a lot in this episode, and kind of like setting up for a mega season finale. And also season premiere. So, they got a lot on the line this Sunday. So, hopefully they can follow up strong and end the season on a high note and start Fear the Walking Dead on a high note. We just talked about it. Their numbers are incredibly low. I'm hoping that this will bring some of the fans back, but I just think that, Jay hit this point on the head, like killing Carl Grimes. Sure, you want to make the show a little bit different than the comics, but that's why you have Fear the Walking Dead. That's why you can make another spinoff. Like, don't really mess with the main product. If that was the case, why even have these characters from the comic book if you're not going to base it off the comics? So I think Jay was exactly right when he said, if you want to kill off characters, just make a completely different, spinoff from the original show, because the original show was so strong, and it's very weak compared to what it was, a few seasons back.
And before it kicked off season 8, one thing we were talking about is if they want to bring numbers back, they had to stick to the comics, and they just did not. They kept going down their own pathway. We'll see. I mean, another twists, and this just twist someone came with Dwight this time. He's been as the backstabber in there, and now Negan just lost his 2 main generals.
Yep.
And he lost a lot of people over a hilltop to that battle, and then he killed another half dozen or so of his own men because they betrayed him. Do you think that kind of evens the odds a little bit as far as his upcoming battle?
Well, if it wasn't for the mole, the white, if it wasn't for Simon trying to upend Negan, if it wasn't for, just the fact that Negan had some chinks in his armor from within, so he had enemies within, which is the title of the episode that Lori got killed, Killer Within. So he had stuck to their game plan, and the Saviors would have went the way Negan wanted them to go, the war would be over already. I mean, they are such a dominant force that it took 3 communities to join forces to give them a threat. Plus, they needed an inside rat. Plus, they needed one of Negan's top generals to say, "Hey, I can do it better." Plus, they needed a whole lot of other, maybe Jay's favorite group, Oceanside, maybe the trash heapsters. It's a possibility of 5 communities that have to get together just to match the force of the saviors. Like I said, plus traitors. If Dwight and Simon weren't traitors, if Negan wouldn't have rubbed Dwight the wrong way, of course he slept with his wife, married his wife, burned his face, the saviors would have already won this war. It would have been over. I mean,
yeah.
And how else?
Like they're just really starting to push that Negan is not a horrible guy. Might be a little bit of a bad guy, but he's not like the worst. I think when he first introduced him, it's like, oh, I hate this guy. He kills 2 main characters. He slaughtered all these males, which we found out that wasn't even him.
Wasn't he?
It was Simon. And now it's like, what happens if you were to take away, like, let's say he doesn't have multiple wives? Let's say he cuts back as far as special privileges for his lieutenants and stuff like that. Could he actually be a decent leader? If he just kills, he still has to kill 1 or 2 to player belts in line. But what do you think?
You got to take it. You got to look at it in context. Like we talked about, season 7. Rick Grimes comes and he kills. Daryl blows up about 12 of them. Rick Grimes and his crew go out and destroy a whole satellite. One of the satellite stations that Negan has, one of the outposts, I should say. Then Carol and Maggie kill another 8. The number of saviors, the Alexandria survivors killed are staggering. Now, I know it's not their generals, but the number of men that they killed before Negan even killed one is ridiculous. So when Negan kills 2 people in cold blood and as brutal as he did, he automatically got this bad guy, persona. But honestly, he's Rick Grimes, and they're trying to show you that they're the same. They're one and the same. And Negan has taken over communities in his own way, and so has Rick. I mean, you got to remember, Rick took over Alexandria almost the same way Negan took over the Saviors. He came in. Negan said it. Simon was a mess. Now you have two different sides of the coin. So Alexandria were very passive. Simon was very aggressive. Negan comes into the Saviors and sees that Simon's out of control. He's a loose cannon. He's killing all sorts of people, and he stabilizes it.
Yeah.
Rick goes to Alexandria and sees that the people can't defend themselves, and he stabilizes it. So it's like, they stabilized in their own way. Nick negatively stabilized Alexandria, made them into fighters, and Negan kind of said, okay, let's take it down a notch because people are resources. So both of them, if you look at from the beginning, Negan seemed like the good guy compared to Rick. So it's just like, it's your perception of these 2 mega characters, and they're starting, that's the one thing I do like about what they're doing with Negan, is they're starting to show you that you can't just assume he's the villain without assuming Rick Grimes is the villain as well. And it'll play with your mind when you start to see Rick, giving his words to the soldiers in the last episode, the saviors in the last episode, and killing them. And then it'll play with your mind again when you see Negan saying, hey, look, you shouldn't be killing all these people. I have to do something about it. And he does it fair, fights fisticuffs. He doesn't use Lucille, fisticuffs. If you beat me, you become the leader. And he beat him, it wasn't any trickery about it. Rick shooting people in the back. I mean, Negan one-on-one against Simon, hand-to-hand combat. So which one is the good guy? Which one is the honorable guy? Which one is the snake and the scum?
Yeah.
Go ahead and answer that question.
I think it would help Negan's, I guess, mantra if he wasn't surrounded by scumbags. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, Rick, he's still surrounded by good people, but Negan
Yeah.
is just like, man, everyone's a dirtball over here.
Yeah.
Hell, even what's the smart guy? I can't think of his name right now.
Not you. Oh, Gavin.
Eugene.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Eugene. I mean, he's turned into a scumbag.
Yeah, yes.
It's like, man, if you had some like decent people, maybe it'd be all right. But Gavin, speaking of Gavin, he's like the only like somewhat decent guy. He was just like Ezekiel, man. If you just followed along, I didn't want this. I don't want to kill people.
Yes.
We were fine, but you had to go poke the bear, and it's like, I would like to see more of those people, because, I mean, it's hard to say he's a good guy if he's surrounded by, murderers and everybody else.
Watch the company you keep. You're absolutely right. Who you surround yourself with says a lot about you. And, he's trying to rule with an iron fist. And he sees that it doesn't work out the way he plans. I mean, when you start to rule like that, and you're absolutely right, when you have that mentality to surround yourself with scumbags and think that you're going to be the almost like a Escape from New York type of thing, Escape from LA type of thing, when you think you're going to be the king of kings there, and you think you're going to be the most aggressive of the aggressors, you have to remember who you're being the most aggressive toward. You're being aggressive toward people who are aggressive. You're not being aggressive to Alexandrians. You're being aggressive to people who are killing entire communities of men. So eventually, as we saw in the last episode, which we'll dig into what we like, dislike, and whatever. You see in the last episode, the aggressor Simon was always Simon. Just like Negan said, he always had to keep an eye on him. But he's always been Simon, been a scumbag. It just, at the worst time, his scumbaggery came out. And it's just like, what do you expect? And that was Negan choking him out, said, now I have to kill them all because I thought that you were different from what you showed me in the past. And his ideology of trying to change, these people from being super aggressive to falling in line is the same as Rick trying to change the Alexandrians from being super passive to becoming more aggressive. So it's, both have made mistakes, but Negan's is costing him because of what Jay said. You're dealing with a bunch of fucking douchebags. Watch the company you keep. Yeah. So, but Jay, what did you like about this episode, man?
I love Simon, man. I'm gonna miss him. He's a fun character. I mean, he's an asshole.
Great walker.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
great walkers of all time.
Yeah, you really. I mean, it's not like one note. I mean, not saying like any walkers necessarily are, but he wanted to bring complexity to it, and it definitely got through that way. Yeah, I don't know. It was definitely setting up to see what's going to go in the battle. Goddamn that Carl reading in the beginning though. Oh, yeah. That was rough.
That was tough.
Yeah.
How many tears did you guys cry over there?
Kelsey got a little choked up over there. But yeah, and then find out that Andrew Lincoln actually had an earpiece and listened to it.
So he can cry too.
Yeah.
That was,
I mean, I couldn't imagine. Like, that's like his, almost like a second kid. I mean, grew up on set. Like, you gotta have some sort of special bond, like playing a father to a small kid and growing up together and giving him acting lessons and everything like that. Jeez.
8 years, man. That's more than half his life at the time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just about half his life. 8 years on the show. He started when he was 9, so almost a little bit less than half of his life. He knew the guy, knew the kid. So 10, but it's still a little bit less than half. Somebody from 10 to 18. You know him throughout there. He's going through puberty. He's changing into a man. So he's watching him turn from a boy to a man right in front of his eyes and shit. So it's like, that's like you said, that's like a son to him. I agree. Simon was. We'll give away the MVP of the show right now. Simon was the MVP of the show. Even the Simon Walker. He killed it. And, he's going to be missed. I like Stephen Ogg. I like him in Grand Theft Auto 5 as Trevor. I love when they cast him. He's the evil twin of Abraham. They both have great one-liners. They're both quirky. They're both they have very great sense of humors, and they're generals, and they're great mustaches. So and they're generals. So and they're tough as nails. And to lose finally, you lose Gavin. You find out that Dwight is the mole, and then to lose Simon, and then even to lose, they shot a couple of those secondary generals that went on Simon's side. You're starting to see it even out a little bit as now important members of the Saviors are dying. So I definitely liked the hand-to-hand combat. I liked how Negan played Dwight. You almost knew it was Laura that he picked up, but I like how he played Dwight and used him to his advantage. And then he revealed to Dwight, "Hey, look, I set you up and you set them up, so you're doing me a favor." I thought that was great. I thought Jeffrey Dean Morgan was great in this episode. What can you say? Jeffrey Dean and Simon, but I got to give the slight edge to Simon in this episode.
Yeah, and it goes back to with Dwight and the doctor, where he's just like, okay, just like kind of like, let's see how far you're going to take this,
Yes.
Let's see how far you're willing to, dangle this lie out there, see how far you're going to play it. And it's like, wow, you really went for it, huh? Mm-hmm. All right. I mean, did you think it was smart of Dwight to betray Simon, or do you think it would be better up for him to remove Negan and then deal with Simon after the fact?
Well, I don't think that he thinks that Negan. I think that he knows that Simon is basically gonna kill everybody, and he's gonna continue to kill everybody. He's a marauder, so he's the type of person who's just bloodthirsty, and that's not what Dwight wants. And Dwight knows that he cannot go to Simon and say, "Hey, look, my plan was to double cross Negan," and he couldn't let Simon find that out either, because he would be dead. Whereas he knew Negan had that compassion that he wouldn't kill him, and he wouldn't kill all the Alexandrians in his mind. But after it happened, and he saw that Negan is now at this point where I have to kill all these people because Simon has blown this whole thing up, and now knowing that Negan is going to use him to kill all the people, it's like a double whammy. Yeah. So, it's the risk you take. I mean, he had good intentions. He wanted to get back at Negan. He stole his wife. He burned his face. He wants to do right by his wife. He wants to do right by himself, and he doesn't want to live as a savior anymore. Right. So he tried to do his best, and he made one mistake. He didn't kill Laura. She got away. If he would have killed her, the war is over, and the Alexandrians win. Yeah. But hindsight. That sucks. You don't know. Hindsight is 20/20. Yeah. So I think he's better off with Negan. Obviously, now he's a prisoner. Whereas Simon would have killed him.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, how about the Eugene scenes? Those were interesting too.
Well, Eugene is. I still have faith, because they're giving too many hints with these bullets and shit that Eugene is going to pull a miraculous, save at the end. There's something about these bullets. They already spoke about it, and there's a couple of people are talking about it online, but they really gave you a hint when Eugene ran up to Father Gabriel and said, "You can't use these type of bullets," and Father Gabriel openly said, "Hey, look, I don't want to kill anybody." So I think Rosita's speech to him, I think when Eugene gets cornered and called out, the last time Rosita called Eugene out, he became a fighter, and he fought with Alexandrians against that humongous herd of walkers that infiltrated Alexandria. Mm-hmm. So I think that Rosita giving him a little bit of a tough love, you pissed me off type of thing. It goes back to when he wore that shirt that said, Virginia is for lovers. And it goes back to the comic books when he's involved with Rosita. I really believe that Eugene and Rosita are going to become an item. They should become an item, because their relationship and what we saw in the comic books. Now, the walk throw us, a curveball and kill both of them. We don't know what's going to happen, but it's all setting up for this You know what I'm saying? It's like you call me out and call me a pussy, basically. I'm going to prove you wrong type of thing. You understand what I'm saying? So I kind of see it going in that direction. I hope it does. Maybe it doesn't. You know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah. You know, to me though,
we don't know.
I don't know, like the conversation between Rosita and him was just like, hey, we're gonna treat you like the piece of shit you are. You're gonna come with us, and you're never gonna leave. You know, you're gonna make us bullets. We're gonna force you. But then over on the Savior's side, it's like, hey man, we're gonna treat you like a king. You're gonna give you all these nice food. You know, what do you want? You know, we'll have these girls wait on you. You're the Joe. You're in charge, man. You're the ruler over here. And it's like, you know, I can't really blame him.
Yeah.
You know, if I had to choose, you know, what they say, like a deep dark cave or whatever, and then you're forced to work, and the only time you're gonna leave is when we allow it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
Who's the bad guys in those situations? You know,
it goes back to what we've been saying from the beginning. Is there really a good and bad? What situation is good and bad? And he's given too many hints. You know, he gave Sasha a way out. He gave the keys to Dr. Carson and Father Gabriel. He's given too many hints that, you know, he has a heart for these people. He even said it to Rosita. Hey, look, I saved your life. I told Negan it was my bullet to save your life, and now I'm rolling with the punches. There's something behind it, and I think that him saying it to Rosita, that whole conversation, the Father Gabriel with the bullet, making the empty the blank bullet, it's all for a reason, and Eugene keeps talking about it. I think it's all for a reason. It's all for a bigger game. If not, it'll be something out of this world crazy. We don't know how it's going to end. We do know that Morgan's going to end up leaving. So that's the only thing we know for sure, but we don't know how it's really going to end. Looking at it, and you know, looking at what other people are saying, but then watching the episode, they're really going to lean toward some sort of gumption here with Eugene. But we'll see. Like you said, he threw up on Rosita, and he was pretty pissed off. And a good point was, why would he try to sabotage anything when all he had to do was just go with the Alexandrians? Like, if he was going to do that, why wouldn't he just go with them? So we don't know.
Hey, you know, this is my plan. I've been sabotaging bullets. I need to go back there.
Yeah. So yeah. So I think that he, we don't know what's going to happen. We can assume, but we have to wait till next week. We'll see, man. But big question here is your dislike. I think I know what you disliked about the show, but I'll let you say it.
Yeah, the thing we haven't talked about. You know, like I love Aaron. You know, he's a great. You know, I love the actor.
Ross Marquand.
But come on, man. You know, is it going like a hunger strike to get these people in line? Or, you know, like,
it's going too far with these Oceanside people. Keep going, man. I'm sorry.
It's just, and now it's just like, well, really, they don't have beef with Negan anymore. Negan just killed the guy who killed all your men. It's like,
exactly.
Do you owe Negan now?
Yes.
You know, it's like, I thought that was before Negan was even in charge. So
yes.
How do you even know who Negan is? You know? Because you go. Do they even know Negan? Like they said,
no, they don't. They only know the Saviors. That's a great point. Because Negan came after Simon did the killing. Great observation. Go ahead.
So, I mean, they don't... It's like, oh, under different charge, maybe they're different now. I mean, they're different, obviously, but not perfect. But it's like... And I was just like, okay, so yeah, they killed all our boyfriends, you know, husbands, sons, and everything. But you guys took off our guns. So... And you killed the matriarch, too.
Yeah, well, you're right. She got herself killed like an asshole, but you're absolutely right. It's still, I have to agree. I think that, obviously Oceanside is going to come into play now. They're going to come back with Aaron, and they're going to come and save the day in some weird way. I just think that it was an unnecessary ad. I really think it was an unnecessary ad. They could have used those people from the library. You know, when in season 6 finale, if people remember, they should remember if they watch the show. Simon, they chase down the guy from the library and they say to him, hey, look, you didn't follow the rules. You know, the first one that fired a shot, we strung him up to make an example. And, you know, you guys wanted to fight, so we had to kill you all. I think they could have used that story because Simon seemed to kill them all, and that's not what Negan wants. I think that Negan would have came out and said, those people at the library, you're only supposed to kill one, you killed them all. They didn't have to give us the Oceanside story. That would have had the same effect. Think about it. Would have had the same exact effect that Simon killed an entire community or entire establishment of survivors against Negan's wishes. It would have had the same exact effect instead of going all the way out to these people who fish all day, no men with a ton of guns. They have little kids there. I mean, it's like you just added another group for what purpose? And it's now you have Aaron lying in mud and raining on them, and you know, people are killing matriarchs, and what the hell is this group doing? Like, why?
I don't know. Like, even the junkyard people was useless too, because all right, they came in so they could do a back, you know, double crossing. Okay, and then they're all dead. Okay, so now you're left with one person. Okay,
and she doesn't even kill Negan. She doesn't kill. No.
So is she gonna stick around? Is she gone?
We don't know. And that's another thing. You have two groups that you've already introduced in the cells in the people from the library. Okay, that is specific to Simon, the people from the library. That was his responsibility. Now, what they could have done there, instead of having these trash heapsters and the freaking Oceanside, you know, replace it when Rick gets all these weapons. You know, maybe, you know, they bring the weapons back, you know, to fight, and you know, they lose to the Saviors in a battle and lose the weapons, or a smaller army of them have the weapons and the Saviors, you know, set them up. You could still play with it instead of introducing these two groups and having 6 total episodes that make no sense to me. So I didn't like that. So that was my, you know, I agree with you. I was waiting for him to say it, but you know, I just don't understand why we're still dwelling on these people. And now it's so obvious that they're going to come in the last second with their spears. Like, what the hell? Like, what are you going to do with these spears against guns? It's just like, come.
I don't know. I just like, okay, so if Negan has them like all pinned down because, you know, they fell for a trap, and all of a sudden these, you know, 30 or 40
women with spears,
people, you know, just with spears, nets, and, you know, melee weapons, it's just like, and they somehow turn the tides. It's like, come on, that's bring them in for the next season then or something. But they shouldn't be like the turn of the moment. You know, that shouldn't be momentum. That should be like, you know, maybe Negan having second thoughts, thinking about Carl or something like that, or vice versa.
Exactly. Yeah, that was my least favorite part of the show. MVP, we said it was Simon. So what do we expect for the season finale, man? What are your predictions on the season finale?
Well, Morgan's going to leave, so someone's going to have to trigger him. I don't think it's just...
Yes.
I mean, you could see somebody close to him die.
Okay.
But who? I mean, Father Gabriel maybe might go out as trying to be a hero. The last chance to be a, you know, righteous man. One second, I think we lost James. Oh, let's see if we can't get him back. There he is. All right, you're back.
All right. Go ahead. The last thing I heard was Father Gabriel, maybe.
Possibly Father Gabriel. Nah, it should be fine. Whatever. You know, what else can he do with being a blind guy? I know he's gonna interact with Eugene out there. Mm-hmm. Maybe you know, him and Eugene are gonna, you know, try to come up with a plan to save everybody, or, you know, maybe Father Gabriel will encourage Eugene to come back to the light side.
Okay.
I don't know. Some of Carol, maybe, but I don't know.
Well, I predicted that Carol will meet her, and the way it looks, she has a little bit of hope. I don't think it's gonna. I think that you're right about Morgan. I think he's gonna get somebody. He's gonna get somebody important killed, or he's gonna see somebody killed, or maybe friendly fire, or he's gonna have like a hallucination and kill somebody by accident. I I think that's going to push him over the top. So we'll see him leave in that sense. I want to say Henry maybe. Maybe he does something and gets Henry killed. Who knows? Maybe, I don't know at this point. I don't know, but I know that he's going to survive and be on Fear the Walking Dead. They already have confirmed that it's not a flashback, which would be dumb. So that's a good move to make it, moving forward. I think that the war is going to end, and I think something's going to happen, where it's going to be like they're not going to totally remix it and make the Saviors win. Spoiler alert. But I think that something big is going to happen where the survivors, like Jay said, is probably going to be pinned down because of the way everything is laid out, and something big is going to happen. I pray it's not Oceanside coming in to save the day. That'll be the dumbest shit ever. And I believe that they're going to use Morgan's jail cell for Negan. And if they don't, that'll be the biggest plot hole in the history of the world. Why did he build the jail cell?
Yeah, but I mean, how can they win with Negan having the drop on him? Like everything's stacked up against him basically. It's
gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. Pay attention to the hints. Eugene, the bullets, told Father Gabriel, you're making these bullets, they'll explode in our faces. Is Gabriel going to continue to make bullets like that against Eugene's wishes? Is Eugene going to tell him, make these bullets? Like I said, I've watched different things and seen what people were saying about it. And, after watching last week's episode, it's kind of like a confirmation that Eugene's going to have some sort of part in it, either directly or indirectly. Father Gabriel is going to have a helping hand as well. I mean, you don't just focus on something like that. That's going to come into play, in my opinion.
Maybe Eugene has been tricking them too, and he's actually been sabotaging the bullets. So once they start firing them, everything explodes.
Yeah, maybe because he said that to Gabriel, and then of course you got the Dwight factor. Will he somehow get loose and save the day and save the group? Will they remix it and kill him off? Will he die for the cause? We don't know, but we also got to look at Rick being under that tree with, bleeding. We got to see what happens there. Are they going to remix it completely and kill off the main character and lose even more viewers?
See, I figured that was going to be when he took the arrow to the gut.
Me too, but now you don't know. See, so we don't know what's going to happen, and I really think that if Rick Grimes dies, which I don't think he signed on for season 9. We don't know if he signed on for season 9 for one episode. We don't know if he signed on for the complete season 9, but it will be the dumbest shit ever if he died.
Maggie's not signed on yet. Maybe she dies.
And even be the dumbest shit ever if she died too. Pay her money.
Yeah, if they kill her off like two prominent characters in comic books, you guys are fucked. You know?
Lost 2 million viewers in the span of 2 episodes just because you killed off Carl. It went from a low 8.9 to 6.2 million. People are kind of getting wary of these sudden, random Charlie from Is Always Sunny in Philadelphia, random moments.
Yeah, right.
Can't do this.
It's who dies today? Roll the dice. Ah, shit's Carl. All right,
Rick Grimes.
It's literally if they turn the Terminator movies into a TV series and then they kill off John Connor when he's a kid, and it's no, you're supposed to, he's the one who gets trained and becomes this great general leader of everybody. In the end, you can't go and kill. Ugh, still don't know. Yeah,
so hopefully they don't do anything drastic. Hopefully they end it on a in something that makes sense, but we won't know. So we're gearing up for the season finale. We're also gearing up for the season premiere. There's a lot of loose ends that need to be tied up. There's the Jadis with the helicopter. There's the Heapsters. They're still not going. There's Oceanside. They're still not done. There's, obviously the war itself is still not over. There's Dwight. We don't know what happened. There's Sherry somewhere out there. We don't know where she is. Is she going to come back? There's so many loose ends that need to be tied up. And supposedly the show director said that everything will be tied up. So how are they going to do this in an hour and then link it to Fear the Walking Dead? I'm going to be very interested to see. But Scott Gimple, Robert Kirkman, Greg Nicotero, and the new showrunner, I can't think of her name right now, it's off the top of my head. They all have stated it's coming to a close. Angela Kang. So all four of them have stated all the loose ends are going to be tied up. So that's a lot of loose ends to tie up.
I don't know how. I mean, it's gonna be an extended episode, but I mean,
wow. Think about that.
but they still have like other loose ends, and loose ends make my ass itch. Like those people with the plans. They decided to throw those in randomly for no fucking reason.
Yeah. So, hey, it is what it is. We have some special things for you to end the episode. So I got a question. Well, I got an assignment. I use some people give me assignments to do. I try to tell them that this isn't a job, but because they're good fans of the show, that I'll take in consideration the things that they asked me to do. So a couple of friends of mine said, you're an expert. You watch it and you talk about the MVPs of the show. Who are the MVPs of the season? Now, we can go back and can ask Jay this too, but I had to look at this in my way. I had to look and say, okay, who am I going to pick for the MVP of this season and who were the MVPs of the past? So we're not going to go over, into detail because it's too much. So I look back in season 1, I picked Rick Grimes as the MVP. I picked the runner-up, and I'm looking at it and I'm saying, who made the biggest impact, acting-wise, role-wise, impact, whatever. Rick Grimes, obviously, season 1, it was all about Rick Grimes, just from start to finish. Who was the runner-up? Glenn. If it wasn't for Glenn, there's no Rick Grimes. There's no story because he saved Rick Grimes, and he was Rick Grimes' right-hand man throughout season 1, from start to finish. And then the honorable mention is my favorite, Lenny James. He had one episode in this season, but Lenny James, again, it wasn't for Lenny James, there's no Rick Grimes. Season 2, the MVP was Shane. The whole season was about Shane, and that's the part that they did so well on The Walking Dead, was they extended that relationship between Rick and Shane from the comic books and explained, better explain how Rick killed him. And I thought that they knocked it dead. And I thought John Bernthal's performance was out of this world. He was hands down the best actor on the show at the time. The runner-up was Daryl, because it was his coming out party. He had a couple episodes by himself. He helped look for Sophia. He became a prominent member of the group. He was like an outside eye looking in. He took over Shane's spot as Rick's number 2. Runner-up was Glenn. Honorable mention was Glenn, because, again, Glenn survived everything. He almost died. He fell in love. He got a father-in-law. He had to hold all these secrets. Season 3, Merle Dixon, MVP. Merle Dixon came back. It was refreshing to see him come back. He had a lot of impact moments. One of the best episodes of the season was This Sorrowful Life, when he just said, fuck it, I'm going to go after the governor and his men by myself. Just epitomized his whole character. Runner-up was the governor. He killed a lot of people as a villain. Like, he had a whole community. He killed a whole bunch of people. He was sadistic, and he killed Merle. So you got to give it to him.
Yeah,
and
I just want to step in real quick about Merle, and like what's different between like him and some of the main characters who go off on their own. Like I think everyone basically would try to kill the governor out by themselves on their own. That Merle, his was a conscious decision saying, like, if I stick around, I'm just become the bad guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna become a dick. I can't do it.
I'm not meant to be with these people. I am not good like them. I'm just gonna disappoint my brother. I mean, even like when Rick came up, it was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm just trying to get a bump of drugs. That's all, man." And it's just like, yeah, it makes sense. But you just want to be like, you know what? I just one last hurrah out there. Just try to be the good guy before I can't be So I
all
can't
the
be the bad
problems.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And then honorable mention Morgan. One of the greatest episodes of all time was Clear.
Yeah.
Now we get to see why Morgan is the way he is just from that one episode. Season 4, this was a tough one. I picked Carol as the MVP here because she wasn't in the mid-season finale, and she wasn't in the season finale, but she had more of an impact, and she had more of the hindsight of what was going on, and she totally changed the character into Killer Carol. This was when we first saw her, and she had one of the best episodes, killing Lizzie. Runner up was Herschel. Scott Wilson's performance was unbelievable in those first 6 episodes that he was in, even to the end when he gets decapitated. He took on Tyrese's comic book death, but it was one episode, episode 4, where when he made that speech, you risk your lives, you step outside, you risk your lives, and what are you risking it for? That was one of the greatest speeches in the Walking Dead series. And then the honorable mention again was Daryl. He had a coming out party where he was, he stayed true to his character. He got stronger, and he was part of multiple groups in this episode. He was with Beth. He was with Bob, Tyrese, and Michonne. He was with the prison group, and then at the end he was with Rick Grimes. But even before Rick Grimes, he was with the Claimers. So Daryl was all over the place, and I gave him an honorable mention there. Season 5, Abraham, it just from start to finish, Abraham was hilarious in the season. He had the plan to go to Washington. Showed his backstory, great one-liners. He was vicious. He was understanding. Everything about him, was great in the season. Runner up was Carol. She saved the day. Wasn't for Carol, nobody lives. And then she further, then she changed her stripes in season 5 and became the housewife Carol, which was really good to see. See her character be able to do that. And then honorable mention was Noah. Had one of the greatest deaths and one of the biggest moments in Jane Kelsey's relationship, where she spoiled his death. So he automatically gets an honorable mention for that. Season 6 was our first multiple MVP, was Carol. She went full beast mode in this season. She killed so many people in this season. Even at the end, when she wasn't trying to kill people, she still killed people. She was one of only a couple of people who didn't get caught by Negan and the Saviors because she was so badass. You can't catch her. Yeah. The Terminites can't catch her. Negan can't catch her. You can send her away. She comes back. You can't get rid of her. She's just the best. Runner up was Morgan. You got to see the background of how he became the monk or the peaceful warrior. And then honorable mention was Glenn. You knew it was going to be his last season. You knew it was his swan song, and he had the fake out death. He had 2 fake out deaths in this season, and then of course, set up for his ultimate demise. And then season 7, which was the worst season of the series, Negan clearly was the best character. Runner up was Sasha. She had the great moment at the end. She was such a great actress, and it was such an honor to watch her on the show and know that she better things, and she was deserving of that death. And an honorable mention was Rick. So many different emotions, and he played it to the T. He was scared. He was defiant, scared, submissive, and then he came all the way back up to being the leader that he was. So that's an idea of what I did. So season 8, we're gonna give you our MVPs, but the candidates right now, Morgan, Negan, Simon, Rick Grimes, and Carl. So yeah, 5. And this I said this. Jay can come up with his own, but these are my 5 for the season. If anybody in the comments would like to give their own opinions, that's fine. We obviously would look forward to it. We'd like to see who you like in the show. Obviously, I'm as you see, I didn't even pick Morgan as an MVP up to this point. But we're kind of seeing the direction I'm probably gonna go this season. I could tell you one thing is that we're gonna have a first time winner in my book. So, but definitely let us know who you like. Challenge Jay to do it. I'd like to see how he would rank them. But we'll talk about it at the end of this season. We got one more episode to go. And we'll see how that. So I fulfilled my promise. It was tough, I had to do it in kind of like my downtime, just thinking about it, and it was tough. And I reviewed the list with one other person other than Jay, and they agreed to an extent, but they're pretty biased on one of the characters. The character's name is Daryl, so
of course, right, MVP every season.
That's basically what it was. I think Daryl had it was like a 3-time winner, like 3-peated.
I mean, it's not tough. I mean, we need somebody to blow up something and be really cool in the scene. Fucking give it to Daryl.
Like, come on. Like, you're gonna pick Daryl over Merle Dixon in season 3? Impossible. Come on. How can you do that? Like, seriously? Merle Dixon's character had a knife for a hand.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
It's like some old school,
oh my god,
horror movie shit right there.
That's unbelievable. You're gonna pick him over Carol. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Carol is pretty fucking badass, man. But we definitely. I'm glad that we're back. On kind of like a schedule, and I can't wait for next week, man. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, how are we gonna do it? We're gonna have to do like a 2-part show. You want to do like the season finale and then do the season premiere like the next Wednesday or something like that, or you want to try and knock around
a 2-part, a double week. So
yeah,
down for that because it's so special. Monday and Wednesday. Definitely down to kind of like split it up.
Okay.
Because we can't. I think we owe it to both shows.
Yeah.
That we split it up, and I think it'll be better if we split it up as well because it's important. And it's so the anticipation of season 4, especially again, I'm biased. My favorite character, Lenny James, is going to make this. I think it's going to push Fear the Walking Dead to Walking Dead level. I think this is the season that we see the shows collide, ratings wise, at least in my book, because Lenny James is such a look at his performance this season, and you're taking that and you're putting it into Fear the Walking Dead. What a shot in the arm that's going to be, man! I'm telling you, he's incredible.
Yeah,
he's incredible.
Sorry to see him go, but glad to see him on that show too. I mean, he's gonna have some fun interactions, that's for sure.
Him and Strand, him and Madison, him and Nick.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's gonna be incredible. The preview had Nick trying to grab the gun and him using the Aikido stick and saying, yeah, I'm not scared of you. I'm not worried.
Right.
So before we go, happy birthday again to Jay and soon to be Kelsey. Am I correct, or did I miss? I hope I didn't miss it.
No, her birthday will be this weekend.
I thought so. Okay, I'm right on schedule.
Yep.
All right, so happy birthday to my buddy Jay. Turned 37 on the 4th.
Yeah, okay.
Kelsey's got a sugar daddy because Kelsey's still, I think, 23 or 24. She's young.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, one of the questions over here we get from our fans is who was older between James and Jay?
All right, so this is a trick question.
James went to high school with my father, so.
If you actually seen me and Jay's father interact, that you would believe that because that's like my buddy. All right, so that's not fair. All right.
I mean, James has won by a couple years though. It's not that bad.
Yeah, I got him by a year, 2 years and 8 months. So I'm his senior, I guess you could say. We'd be in the same high school. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
Yeah. So we got a couple more questions from the fans. We're gonna try to knock out a couple of these per show. This must be from one of your buddies over here.
Okay.
Hey James, why do you wear that stupid hat during the broadcasts? This
Oh
was like
man.
your beanie. But it's probably gets
Yeah.
cold down
I
there.
yeah. So sometimes in the basement, it takes a little bit of time for these freaking heaters to warm up, and it's kind of brisk down here. Um, I think we had one Monday where it was just cold, man. I came in from outside. I think I either was shoveling or took the dogs out or something crazy, and I just kept the hat on and just said, F, I'm not taking this shit off. It's cold. So yeah, it's a little part of laziness on my part, but it is what it is. I made it to the show. I'd like to just say, I was freezing my ass off, so that's why I wore the hat.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you for that question. I appreciate it.
We try to get it all dressed up and everything for the show. Not really. Right now, my hair looks like freaking Conan's, the goddamn talk show host. I don't know what the hell it's trying to do with it. No, shit. I'm looking at the camera backwards and now it's all messed up. I
Uh
can't. Oh boy. That's this long ass hair, man. I'm not used to it, and I'm just trying to keep it down. There we go. That'll work. But yeah, it's like freaking Conan, freaking all flipped up and everything.
We
Wow,
get $25 a donation. I will pick my hair out, and I will wear an afro to the next show. My hair is much longer than what it looks like right now. It's just fucking gelled down. I will $25 in donation. I will pick my hair out
there you
to
guys
the.
go. That's a challenge. Head on
That's
over Humane Society. Links down below in our YouTube and Twitch channels.
and I
Just put a
will
little
wear
comment.
the pick in my hair as well. $25, the whole
Worth it.
show.
I think it's worth it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who it is. So if you donate $25, I will come on the next show. I will pick my hair out. It won't be on camera because it's higher than this shit. The wonders of gel presses it down a little bit. So I'll pick my hair out. Anything for the animals. Any more questions, Jay?
Yeah. Let's get one more out there. This one, speaking of cold up there in Albany, New York, this question is, where does Jay actually live? Because Jay keeps getting everything wrong. So I used to live up in Albany, New York. But a couple years ago, my wife and I moved down to Birmingham, Alabama.
Ooh.
To pursue career opportunity down here at the same company. But it's warmer, it's nice, and it's not Arkansas, Albuquerque, Rancho Cucamonga, or wherever else James has said.
Yeah. So yeah. So if I say that is because Jay left, he went south somewhere. We don't count anything outside of Albany for some reason. So I just pick on him. It's a good question. I'm glad that you guys had these questions, man. It shows that you guys are listening and paying attention to, us even outside of the dissection. Final Promise, Zombie Movie of the Week is back. This one I don't have the actual DVD. It's on my Xbox, but I purchased the movie. It's called April Apocalypse. Incredible movie. Just check it out. It's kind of like a zombie in its own way, but it's also really fucking good. Check out that movie, April Apocalypse. It's $3.99 to rent it. I wouldn't buy it on DVD because for some reason DVDs are becoming like cassette tapes, and they're getting more and more expensive when you try to look for them. Everything is now video on demand or downloadable on your streaming devices. So April Apocalypse, check that out. That's my zombie movie of the week. We'll continue to do that. We'll give you the MVP of season 8 next week, the runner-up and the honorable mention next week. We'll finish up the viewers' questions. If you guys get the $25 in donation, I will pick the hair out and wear an afro, a whole bunch of stuff, original content from us. So just, I can't wait, Jay. I'm really looking forward to it, man. I think that it picked up the second half, and it's a shame that the ratings are so low, but I understand why they are.
Yeah, they try to juggle too much, and they changed the story too much. And I did see one comparison. It was kind of like to Game of Thrones, where it's like Game of Thrones has a lot going on, different storylines, but they just did it so much better, and you're just not invested in some of these groups. That was just not necessary.
Yeah.
And it became Gimple's story, not Kirkman's The Walking Dead, not that we read and loved anymore.
Yeah, I think that was the big downfall there, and a lot of Kirkman is trying, do damage control, and somebody said, how can I think we answered this a couple episodes ago. Why would they give Gibble a promotion again? When you're trying to put out fires and you have show writers that leave, or you fire show writers, and then Gimple comes in and he, because he wrote a lot of good episodes. Clear, Pretty Much Dead Already. He wrote very iconic episodes in the series. But that was what he did. He just wrote specific episodes. But when you take somebody and say, hey, look, I need you to put your creative, your creativity to the test. Can you do this? Sometimes when you take somebody out of what they're supposed to do and put them in something else, it may look good at first, but the expertise isn't there. So he kept writing and writing and writing, and it started getting, he started getting those accolades that all these episodes are great. Then he started to take too many risks. And that's where we are now. So when they put him where he belongs now as, the executive director or whatever the hell he is, it's because of his mind. He has very good creativity, and he's also a great businessman. He sees the bigger picture. Now Angela Kong is in here, and we can already see a little bit of a difference in the writing, because I think she has turned the show around by, some of these episodes that she's written. So, will it carry forward into season 9?
We'll see, huh?
At least we get rid of some of these goddamn groups. That's all I can say.
Yeah, maybe Oceanside just gets mowed down.
I love it. When I saw Oceanside and I saw Aaron out there in the woods and they're saying, is he dead? I said, Jay is fucking pissed. I know he's mad as hell. There's no way he's not. But anyways, a lot of word vomit there. Jay, I'll let you finish it off, man.
Yeah, thanks guys for watching, obviously. If you guys can donate, links down below. If we get $25 in before next week, James said it, he will pick out his hair and wear it as an afro. So there's even more benefit to it. Obviously, the money goes straight to the charity because it's directly linked to the website. If you guys can donate, please do. If you guys can't, like I said, just follow us on the social medias. Ask us questions on there. Engage us. That's one of my favorite things, is engaging with the audience. I love these questions. Keep the questions coming. And once again, I know sometimes we talk, critique The Walking Dead, but we still love it. We still love a lot of the characters. We're sad to see some of them go against the comic book storylines, but gotta roll with it and hope for the best. So we'll see how they do with the season finale. We'll be watching. I'm sure you guys will be watching too, and hopefully be watching us in our next episode next week as we cover the season finale of season 8, The Walking Dead.
Good night, everybody.
See ya.